Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we're going to be going through fat acceptance, body positivity, cringe, I guess that's online, although we're going to be going through a very specific response put up by an individual known as, I don't know if this is her actual, TikTok account, but it's 599.to.damnshe'sfine. On TikTok. And she's basically just gonna be talking about the fat acceptance community and the fat acceptance community's toxic kind of perspective when it comes to somebody being fat, morbidly obese, losing weight, and still remaining body positive, which is a consistent issue in the community. So I figured we would get it from the source, this lovely lass over here, who is body positive, who is a fat person who has lost some weight. And we're gonna go into her video. Now, I want to give a little disclaimer. I am a professional of nothing. I know nothing. I'm merely mortal swine that hides out in their bedroom filled with paintings and bicycles. I'm an authority on nothing, but most people online are authorities of nothing as well, and yet we follow their doctrine like it's holy gospel. So anyways, without further ado, let's just get into this. I'm not here to bully or belittle anybody on the basis of their beliefs, their weight, or whatever. I'm just here to give my cringy opinion and make you hate being on the internet slightly more than you typically do. So without further ado, let's just get into the video.
I am fat. I am very fucking fat. My heaviest weight was 598.2 pounds. I was pushing 600 pounds. I am down 125 pounds, but I'm still extremely morbidly obese. And this video is going to piss off a lot of fucking fat people, and I don't fucking care. I have seen this movement of videos on TikTok shaming, targeting, and attacking fellow large and in charge badass bitch content creators for putting their health first. Knocking them for putting their health first. Whether that's a weight loss journey, whether that's a health journey, whether that's fucking Ozempic, Mounjaro, Zepbound, whether that's weight loss surgery, whatever they're fucking doing to take care of their health, and they are being attacked for it.
That is a consistent issue. Before she continues, pardon my cutting off her sentence, but this video is like 8 minutes long, so we're going to be kind of interjecting ourselves here and there. Yeah, that's a consistent issue. In the fat acceptance community, there's this overarching, perspective where, losing weight, whether it's for your health or to, fit whatever personal goal you have, that means you're being conformant to the masses. Losing weight in this scope means that you're not actually body positive. You're not actually part of our community. You are the enemy. You want us all to be kind of beaten down by the system somehow. You're conforming to the opposition, which is losing weight, being healthy, recognizing that there are health ramifications to being morbidly obese, A lot of people in the fat acceptance community, the body positivity community, have this perspective that, weight shouldn't define anything. Weight is not an indicator of health. Having an excessive sum of body fat has nothing to do with any health markers, you can be healthy at any size, joint issues, heart issues, increased risks of stroke, cancer, hormonal issues, all those things, they don't actually have to do with being fat. It's just something that happens to happen. It's not the cause or the effect or whatever. They always try and find some kind of justification for, it not being just because you're fat, even though having an excessive sum of adipose tissue can lead to some of these issues, as well as having a suboptimal diet that would, result in you becoming morbidly obese in the first place. So, there's a lot to that. But the overarching argument is, yes, if you try to lose weight as an obese person or as a member of the body positivity, fat acceptance community, and, that is a goal of yours because you have medical issues, because you have personal goals, because you want to live a long, healthy life, then you are part of the problem. You are the opposition. You are not part of the community because you are conforming to the societal ideal of being skinny and, being a normal weight, even though a lot of these people still tend to stay on the, more large side, the overweight, obese side. They usually just try to lose weight for their health, exercise for their health. It's not like usually a specific body goal. It's just so that they can improve their health and well-being because they know there's better for them. But for some reason, there's this insane perspective that if you try to modify yourself in any capacity, you're like brainwashed, you know, you're part of the system. It's like red pill, blue pill vibes. It's like, you know, you're the enemy. I don't know why. It's just because I think they feel attacked when somebody decides, oh yeah, I am having health issues. Oh yeah, being morbidly obese will maybe, probably, possibly, potentially, most definitely in the long term, kill me early. Being morbidly obese can, cause early death, metabolic disease, whatever. When they start having people admit that, they find it's a personal attack on themselves, the denial that they face with having to change themselves. And they just don't like it because the perfect bubble, your safety bubble, is your community. And if anybody goes against the ideal foundations of that community, they're the opposition. That's why the body positivity, fat acceptance community is so trigger happy about, saying like, oh, weight loss is bad. Oh, commenting on my body is bad. Commenting on my weight is bad. Oh, you're like, weight biased or whatever. It's just crazy. But anyways, point is, yes, she's 100% correct. And also, this chick is part of the like body positivity community. I wouldn't say just the like fat acceptance community where you can be healthy at any size, but she's part of the body positivity community. It's not like she's here to beat down on people that are fat. She herself is fat. She's trying to lose weight. She's lost 125 pounds, which is great. But, she's still morbidly obese. It's not like she's like, oh, skinny legend, like, oh, you fat people are disgusting. She's a perfect example of somebody who recognizes that there's better for themselves without actually, going against the community that ironically is against them. So, I don't know. Anyways, let's just continue.
The fat acceptance community and the body positivity community. I am so fucking angry. So fucking angry. I am all for embracing your body. I am all for being comfortable in your skin. I am all for not being discriminated because of one size. But how many people need to die before people wake the fuck up?
An incalculable amount. It will never take a specific number of deaths to actually prove, what side or what decision is the right one. There are tons of people who know that being obese, being a smoker, being an alcoholic, indulging in narcotics, in the overall scope of things will kill you early and or cause issues for you further down the line, or even just when you start doing it. Most people still do those things. People still, eat in excess, don't exercise, they're morbidly obese. A lot of people still drink excessively, smoke excessively, or indulge in other forms of narcotics. It doesn't stop people. It doesn't change the name of the game. The only difference, though, is that I have seen a lot of people go, alcohol will kill you, alcohol is terrible, smoking will kill you, smoking is terrible, it causes cancer, which it does. Or narcotics are horrible, they cause addictions. There's nobody that's really like, oh yay, gung-ho. I mean, I've seen a few exceptions, but in the overall scope of things, most people can, unanimously agree that they're bad. And also, I haven't seen any, alcoholism acceptance groups. I haven't seen any smokers acceptance groups. I haven't seen any, pro-narcotic acceptance groups, It's like people in those scopes of things, there's no community that's saying, yes, we deserve to be indulgent in these things and be accepted by society because we know those things are bad, but for some reason, under the guise of body positivity, the fat acceptance community tends to just get away with it, even though I personally think that if you hit 500, 400, 600 pounds, you have a really big problem. And that's not to play on words. It's like you have a genuinely large issue, probably emotional eating, some sort of disordered eating pattern, excessive overeating, under-exercising, but even people that don't exercise a lick usually have to be eating in an insane excess to get to that size or to continue gaining weight at that size. And it's sheerly denial and a lack of desire to change, a fear of change, or a, fear or lack of desire to put in effort towards that change, and instead you just appeal to futility. And ironically, for some reason, people are just, a lot more people are willing to kind of go oh, body positivity, oh yeah, this is a body positivity community, I deserve to exist. But anybody else with the same kinds of issues, in any other kind of like scope of addiction or inappropriate behavior, they don't have the same kind of community. There's no, technology addiction acceptance groups, I don't think. I mean, there probably are, but, there's people who are like super addicted to like whacking it, gooning or whatever. There's people who are super addicted to technology. In most cases, people with inappropriate behavioral patterns are meant to change. They might need help. They might need to look and reflect on themselves, but they need to change. But for some reason, this community, this community always has some weird like scope of people that are just like, nah, I don't need to change. You're the problem. It's you. You don't accept me for who I really am. A fat person, morbidly obese. It's really odd.
I am guilty of glamorizing that kind of lifestyle. I am guilty of glamorizing being nearly 600 pounds and loving my life, loving the attention, loving the money. It's fucking killing people. And now people are wanting to put their health first because they're seeing how dangerous it truly is. And you're fucking shaming them and knocking them and telling them you're not body positivity. You're not blah, blah, blah. You gained your following for being all about plus size and loving your body. Motherfucker, I love my body enough to fucking save my life. I love myself enough today to do something so I can live on this earth longer. If you followed someone because they embraced their body and they embraced self-love and their size was something you could relate to, if they're on a health journey and you don't agree with it, unfucking follow them. Block them so they don't appear on your fucking For You page. But to sit here and make a video after video after video knocking these creators down for simply fucking putting their health first is fucking insane to me.
In spite of it being kind of insane, I understand why people shame people who are, maybe breaking from the health at every size community. Mainly because, people that have to shame other people for, doing something different than they are. One, it's like breaking your perfect world. Your world of acceptance, your world of everything I'm doing is fine. The denial you might be in, the unwillingness to change, the desire to be accepted instead of have to go through the effort of change. Now, it takes, in my opinion, somebody who's either addicted, in severe denial, or who's insanely emotionally immature to shame somebody for doing something different than them in the same community. Especially when it comes to like body positivity. Body positivity is supposed to encapsulate literally any kind of body size, shape, maybe if you're missing limbs, disability. It's supposed to be just like not excluding people on the basis of how they look, but that doesn't actually exclude how people behave. And if people in this community decide to shame one another on the basis of the things that they do that are healthy for them, not unhealthy, but to further better themselves, it's just an incredibly immature kind of way to operate, and it won't last long. That perfect bubble of yours will just pop faster. People will be poking it more, In the grand scheme of things, if you block people out in this kind of respect, it also won't, overall kind of like help you from, staying in denial and whatnot. Your bubble's gonna shrink more and more. The people that will enable you will become smaller, and you'll find yourself even more isolated than you thought that you were before you found this community that you got into. But if you decide to instead be an asshole and, belittle people for the decisions they make and shame people for wanting to better themselves and make decent decisions so that they can live long-standing lives, it's going to make you look like an asshole. It's going to make you look like a piece of shit. An emotionally immature loser with no friends that is miserable and wants everybody else to be living in a world of misery. So, if you don't do that, then good on you. That's the problem. It's like, it takes a very specific mindset to do these horrible things and say these horrible things to people that are trying to do good for themselves, not do anything to you, and yet you find it to be a personal attack on yourself because you can't do, or you feel like, you're like incapable of doing what they're doing, and ironically the attitude just gets you further. I don't know. Personally, that's what I think, but, who knows?
I am a big, bad, beautiful bitch, and I am on a weight loss and health journey. I am down 125 pounds. And I use the hashtag body positivity in every single one of my posts. I loved my body 125 pounds ago. I love my body today, and I'm going to love my body as I continue to lose weight. So I am still body positive. I am discriminated against my size on a daily fucking basis. I am still in the fat acceptance movement. You can't fucking tell me I'm not. You can't, like... People are dying, bro. Like, women are dying.
I mean, you know, I get that it's kind of dramatic, but if you're part of this community and you're constantly, like, operating around people that just, like, deny that, it must be significantly more like, dude, people are dying, like, you know, people die from this. It must be way more hard-hitting to try and push that point home as a member of the community than, you know, say, somebody like you or somebody like me, who might not be a part of that community. And we look and we're like, yeah, people die doing all kinds of stupid stuff, including being super morbidly obese and deciding not to change their health for the better and instead appeal to futility. We think about that and we're like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, people die. You know, people die doing that. But it is quite a severe thing when you think about it. People right now believe that in this community, pretty much, in my opinion, self-harm is okay. In my opinion, being super morbidly obese and treating your body like crap is, in my opinion, self-harm, which I have to be very careful about how I say on YouTube. There's no other way, in spite of, like, you know, the person's perspective on things, that I can justify it other than that. It's the same thing as somebody being severely underweight and justifying them starving themselves under the guise of body positivity. It just doesn't work. We've had multiple people online over the years who've tried to do that, and nobody's accepted them for it. But yet, since there's so many fat people out there living in denial, people tend to kind of like build this community and justify it way more than somebody who's severely underweight. Being obese is significantly more likely than being severely underweight, which is why I think this community grows, and the other kinds of communities like, narcotic acceptance, alcoholism acceptance, severe undereating to the point of being emaciated acceptance communities. Those don't exist because it takes a certain level of, insanity to get to that point, especially in mass. But it's so easy when you're fat and a bunch of other people are fat to just appeal to futility and accept each other on the basis of such because it's the easier outcome.
I posted a video this morning about a friend, someone that I will consider her a friend. And I met her in the FEEDERISM community. And she passed away yesterday.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, that's the hardest part is, the people that you know in these kinds of communities, they'll all go one by one. It's a lot like the pro-Ana communities back in the day. You wouldn't hear from somebody. They might have gone into rehab. They might have, kicked the bucket. You don't know. You really don't know. Same thing with, people that are, doing drugs together and stuff. You don't know. Like, you OD. It happens. Somebody gets hospitalized. Somebody goes to rehab. You don't know. It's really terrible. It's really difficult. And I really have my condolences in this regard because I bet there are some really wonderful people out there in any of these, communities that you'll become friends with. And, you'll feel that sense of camaraderie, and then you'll lose them. And especially in the FEEDERISM group, I mean, from what this chick's been saying, she's been involved in the FEEDERISM community, getting paid, being involved in eating to a point of morbid obesity. And it's really, really difficult when there's so much incentivization, the food pleasure, the acceptance, the praises, the money, the pay, all of this, and also the sense of community, to have to defy this and kind of fight against it. I have my sympathies in this regard, but also it is really home-hitting when somebody close to you passes, unfortunately, due to complications of the thing that, your community surrounds itself by. So in the case of obesity, like a lot of people who are morbidly obese, they don't make it after a certain point in time. And if you're friends with all those people, like, it becomes more and more obvious that a change needs to be made. And also, you look at the people that are involved in these communities, like the fat acceptance community, who are saying healthy at every size is real, and, that are saying all these things, you look at them more and more like they're deranged, like they're crazy, and that them shaming other people for wanting to do better for themselves, it's disgusting. It's like basically an endorsement of death. It's horrible. So I have my sympathies. I really cannot comprehend it. I've never had a friend pass due to an addiction to something or being involved in some kind of community like that. I've never known anybody to do that, and it sounds beyond the scope of difficult.
And I have a lot of fucking guilt. I'm angry. I was sad when I found out, and I was sad this morning. But grieving fucking is different for everybody, and I'm at that fucking angry stage mixed in with guilt. I was lucky enough to get out. She wasn't. I glamorized that lifestyle. I made it seem like it was the way to live at nearly 600 pounds. I made that shit look good. I made that shit sound good. And I feel guilty for anyone that followed in my footsteps. I wanted to die. Death feederism is a real fucking thing. And these men convinced me, and I was consensual, to eating myself to death. It's a real fucking, it's real. And it's like, I jump back and forth on if I want to get on here and talk about shit, because there is a whole community of thousands and thousands of men that are taking that death and feeling successful, getting off to it.
Okay, I have to pause there for a second. One, I really have to commend this individual. She just heard about the passing of her friend, somebody close to her. She's so well composed and articulate. I would be a train wreck if I were talking about this kind of thing online. And I really have a great deal of respect for somebody who comes out and speaks out against something that they were involved in. I understand why she feels guilty. She has every right to feel that way, but I think it's a highly respectable position that she's currently in, to be striving for better and talking about this kind of stuff. Because a lot of the people in the FEEDERISM, death feederism community, they don't really talk that much about it. It's kind of like one of those weird fetish communities where you don't really talk much about it, you know? But to kind of explain it, it's being, enabled by a man or a series of men, being paid, being fed by all these men for their sexual gratification up until you die, which is basically death feederism. Now, it's very interesting because it's like sadomasochism or something. It's like, it's definitely like a weird dominance thing. I can't really describe it. I really don't know exactly how one would describe something like this, but it's an incredibly interesting position of power for somebody to be in when they feel like they can feed you to death, and they pleasure themselves from the prospect of you getting closer and closer to death until you die, and they get off on that. It's quite disgusting. It's like sociopathic. It's filthy, you know? I have so much sympathy for people who get involved in these kinds of communities, because in the grand scheme of things, there's a gratification that probably comes to one when they're fed and they're, adored and they're loved and they're fetishized in a capacity, and they're also paid for these services. Because I bet they find that there's some level of love or respect that goes into that. And in reality, you're being used. You're being completely and utterly used. In the grand scheme of things, when all is said and done, you're entirely expendable to everybody who's using you. You're nothing to them. You're like a piece of meat that somebody can just beat off to. It's very sad. It's truly horrible. I can't even comprehend how screwed up it is. I've never met anybody who has been in this mindset, because most people will look at somebody who's eating themselves to death or starving themselves to death as disgusting. We don't get off on death. Some people get off on death. Some people get off on torturing one another, torturing people. Some people get off on that, and I think it's a very bad position to be in.
But let's knock the women that no longer want to go down that path and want to put their health first. Make it make fucking sense to me. Make it make fucking sense. I I'm so grateful that I hit my rock bottom. I am so grateful that I woke up and realized what I was doing to my friends and my family. Having them worry every fucking night, is Caitlin gonna wake up in the morning? I took control back. I don't know what else I want to say on all of this.
You know, I think we've all, at some point in our lives, been maybe at a point where we hit our rock bottom. Some people have addictions to narcotics. Some people are, severely underweight. They starve themselves. Some people hit this woman's point. But, a lot of the time, your family members, if they're involved, they don't know what to do about it. A lot of people, there's anger, there's an inability to approach you on the subject matter, on the concern. People don't know what to do when you're in that kind of mindset, hitting closer to death, maybe attempting to remove yourself from life, things like that. People don't know how to approach you on that. It's a subject that a lot of people just don't know how to talk to one another about. But a lot of us look at those kinds of things like they're incredibly unfortunate. We don't look at them like they're, incentivized, A lot of us who look at people who suffer with severe depression, EDs, addictions, abuses, we don't look at those people like, yes, do it more, yes. A lot of us look at it like it's a horrible thing that some of us, in fact, a lot of us have experienced before. So to have somebody incentivizing that, to have somebody paying you and feeding you and getting off to you and endorsing you and enabling you, that makes it so much harder to break from. So breaking from something like this is insanely difficult to do, in my opinion. It's a very toxic community, a very incentivized community, and it's very, very different, I think, even though it plays on the concept of self-abuse and the potentials of death. It's very different than just the typical, having to fight depression that's really severe, having to fight, another kind of ED, or having to fight against an addiction, because a lot of people don't look at those things like they're good. A lot of people also, maybe they don't know how to approach you on things, maybe they don't understand, maybe they'll never understand, and maybe it's all you on your own. But imagine not being alone and having people say, yes, do it, keep doing it, we like that, yes, here's money, here's food, here's love, here's acceptance, keep doing these horrible things to yourself, we love you so much, we love everything that you're doing, keep doing it more, we want to see more, we want it until you die. That is a severe and extreme position to be in. It's beyond the scope of a disorder. It's a literal threat to your life and well-being. It's beyond anything. So I have a great deal of respect for people who have to break out of that, because I cannot comprehend how difficult it would be to have to, one, from all the people that are endorsing you, have to break from them, and they'll probably be shaming you. Have all these people who want and are willing for you to keep doing these things to yourself, and then also have all of these, incentivizations to keep doing these things to yourself, because there's a lot that goes into it. There's, people. There's the idea maybe that people will love you, or they get off to you, or that you find yourself hot, they find you hot. There's that level of acceptance. There's also the fact that, you have an addiction to food probably. And there's also the potential that, oh, you're getting paid for this. You're getting paid lots of money. So, it's all hell. It's like literally being in the shit. It fucking sucks. It sounds like absolute ass.
I don't know what else I want to say on all of this. But I want it known that I am a safe space. And I have had so many people message me and tell me that they are in deep into this community, into this lifestyle. And I'm here for you. If you want out, I will help you. If you're not ready yet, and you just need to vent or ask questions, I am here for you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat it. I have trauma. I have PTSD. That lifestyle is not glamorous. It's not. It's damaging, and it's fucking fatal. It's fucking fatal.
If you guys are interested, her, TikTok will be linked in the section below in the description if you want to go and follow her on TikTok. I don't actually know her name, so that sucks. I'm sorry about that. But anyways, this is probably the most telling situation thus far regarding the whole death feederism community. And I really think that it's worthy of being kind of showcased on the channel. I really have my condolences and sympathy for this girl, because I feel like there's so much of this, and a lot of people don't really talk about the death feederism community because it's like a weird fetishized community that probably won't get you a lot of monetization. It might not be as popular as, say, some of the other videos and a lot of, like, you know, more Karen-oriented, all cringe compilation videos on YouTube. But I personally find this to be an important subject matter to touch upon and make the point of, given that I talk about, you know, other disordered eating patterns and, you know, fetishized content on the channel. And I kind of, like, point out maybe some of the issues with that. I think this is one of the worst ones. It is the same as somebody getting off to somebody starving themselves to death. It's almost worse, because also you're, like, you know, getting off on feeding them. It's all bad. It's all literally shit. It's all fucked. So anyways, I don't know what else to add to this video, but I would love to hear your comments in the section below, so by all means, drop them down. And in the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Tell me what you think, and I will see you all next time, my people. I'd say it's been lovely, but honestly, this is quite demented to talk about. The subject matter's a little screwed up, but either way, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. And yeah, that's it. Slater.